back to my channel, Trading Secrets. This channel is for entertainment purposes only. For those of you who do not know, my name is Ali. I have over 20 years experience teaching accounting, economics, business and law. Through this channel I'll be providing some stock analysis and a quick update on the $1 Million Challenge. So if anybody's not aware of this is a journey of an investment of $1,000 to a return of $1 million over a period of 3 years using a strategy called compound return investing. So the objective is to try to get 201 trades, each with an average return of 3.5%. That's not 201 consecutive trades. We do take into account losses. So for further details about how to join us in the challenge for as little as $9 a month, and also to get access to the exclusive in-depth strategy video, information and details are in the description below. Previous video we did an important update on ticker symbol HUSA, so please refer back to the previous video for an important update on that stock. We also looked at calculation for MMTLP from a viewer point of view. So again, details available in the previous video. In today's video, we're going to do a follow-up on looking at ticker symbol MMTLP with some new developments, and also going to be doing an update on ticker symbol RDBX Redbox. So stay tuned for that. So before we start that, let's have a quick look at what's happening in the markets. Close of play today. So the headline here, it states here, if we have a look at the S&P, that's down just in excess of 3%. S&P 500, the Nasdaq Composite is down in excess of 3.8%, and the Dow Jones Industrials is also down just in excess of 2.1%. However, there is also a headline here on the right hand side. You'll see that the Chamber of Commerce Digital's CEO Perrine Boring is now basically saying there's a potential for a massive short squeeze at any moment in time. So particularly bad times also for the crypto market, with we've seen Bitcoin touching close to $22,000. So if we have a quick look at the heat map here, so again this will give you an idea of what's going on in the markets. And again, similar to last Friday, almost a clean sweep of red, with Microsoft down, Apple down, Google down, Amazon also down, Tesla quite down significantly. And as well as that, the energy sector, we're looking at oil and gas, also down. So most of this is primarily caused by the fear of recession, fear of inflation, and the situation in Ukraine. So before we look at new developments for ticker symbol MMTLP, quick follow on from yesterday's video and an update in terms of the calculation. So those of you who saw the previous video will see that there was a calculation, speculative one, from Paul Young, one of the viewers to the channel, and his calculations was based on mineral rights. My calculation, which was compared with his calculation, was based on acreage. So what Paul has stated here is, he stated here that land and mineral rights are sold separately in Texas, where you can own one or both, and in this case just mineral rights. So that's the calculation that it should be based on. So in terms of what I've said to Paul, he has responded also by saying he's going to let me know in terms of confirmation of sources that confirming this. So hopefully once he's confirmed that, and if the valuation is based on mineral rights, then potentially this will lead to a much bigger dividend. But I'm going to share with you now confirmation of where the information I got in terms of where mineral rights are sold by acreage. So this is details with regard to selling mineral rights from Pheasant Energy website, and they look at selling land in Texas. And the third bullet point down I've highlighted here, it said how much of recent transactions sold for if selling mineral rights at $5,000 an acre when the average selling price is in $6,000 an acre. So what they are doing here, any other companies they are involved in selling mineral rights, again they are confirming that the sale is also in the price per acre. And the second source that I used here is from the US Mineral Exchange, and what they've said here at the bottom highlighted is that in most cases mineral rights value in Texas for non-producing minerals will be $0 to $250, but producing minerals, which is obviously more valuable, we're looking at around about $25,000 plus per acre, is not unusual. So in my calculation I used the value of $35,000 per acre, because obviously the land is extremely valuable. We're looking at an estimated 3.5 billion barrels of oil. We're looking at significant amounts of gas. So that was based on, again, from confirmation from the US Mineral Exchange in terms of valuing it from an acreage point of view. So again, stay tuned for an update once we get confirmation of which is the better calculation to use. Let's now have a look at some developments for MMTLP. So those of you watching the previous videos, one of the things that was a concern raised in both of my previous videos was for people potentially holding MMTLP in retirement stocks where there is a situation where it could be logged in, and these people could potentially not receive the dividend and may have to sell MMTLP. So the good news here is George has now responded. So before we look at his response, there is another development here that George has stated here. Again, what we can see here, what George has said is there is an S1 process taking place, lots of bureaucracy, but great progress in the last 45 days. Thank you for your patience. We are getting closer every day. So again, confirmation that the process is being dealt with. They've been looking at this for the previous 45 days and it's getting very, very close. So hopefully good news there. Now with regard to the Canada situation, I'm going to give our shout out here to JOJJES, and we said he's followed in with what the queries that we will look at in the previous videos. What does the Canadian peoples have to sell at August the 30th mean with regard to MMTLP question mark? So again, this is a significant concern from many investors in Canada. B66 has followed on by saying he would be livid. How the hell can there be a plan to help? Can there be a plan to help the Canadians out with this problem? Tagging in George. And then at the bottom, George has responded and he says, I have let our finance team know to look for solutions, but we are working to get the whole process completed before the date. So in terms of the whole process, does this mean confirmation and announcement of a special dividend or transfer out into Oilco, or does this mean actual payment of the dividend? But the good news is he is aware of the Canada situation now and he is looking to resolve it. And then finally, there is another development here from Will on Twitter. He's tagged in John, and he's also looked at reasons with regard to the whole process. And the question he's asked, do you think Torchlight would have been successful had it not been for the tremendous amount of shorting done to the company? For example, you know, potentially raising capital at higher pricing and being able to finance wells, etc. So John has responded here and he says, likely not. Without the merger, Torch may not have survived. In terms of the dynamic of the company, they eliminated all their debt, and then of course obviously oil and gas recovered. So on the negative side, oil and gas recovered, so potentially the company could have been a lot more valuable today, but at that time the company was in significant debt, so it did need the merger. Just before we look at Redbox, I'm going to share with you some interesting data just released from Ortex, and this is for MMAT, and I think the key thing I'm focusing here on is the cost to borrow. So this is certainly increasing. According to Ortex, we can see the cost to borrow has now 165.38%. The cost to borrow average is 74.29%. So certainly getting a lot more interesting here. The short interest has gone up 0.77%, and the current short interest as a percentage of the free float is 16.7%. So again, certainly something that we will be keeping an eye on. I'd like to now have a look at ticker symbol RDBX Redbox. So before we look at that now, I'm going to share with you a copy of our weekly watch list, just looking at some of the stocks that were shared with, exclusive with the Discord members on the Sunday prior to trading today. So on the screen here, you'll see that one of the stocks that we called out was Sava. So the great opportunity to potentially buy closer to $22, $21 today. And again, over the previous month, Sava was up in excess of 60%. We also called out Redbox, and those of you following the channel will know that Redbox is a stock that we've been following since it was trading around about $3. So we'll have a look at that shortly. We also called out ticker symbol HUSA. Again, that's been doing exceptionally well. And a couple of few new stocks here that were called out: ticker symbol COGT, ticker symbol PALT, ticker symbol BLUE. So let's start by having a look at just a few of these that are new to the channel. So on the screen here, ticker symbol BLU, also known as Bluebird Bio. They had good news. Again, this was exclusively shared in the Discord, so anybody who got in here this one today, congratulations. The stock was up in excess of 14.75%. At one point this was trading very, very close to $5 and in excess of $5. And the other stock that we called out is ticker symbol COGT, Cogent Biosciences Incorporated. So again, congratulations to anybody who got into this. This is up in excess of 11.3%. and at one point it did go up in excess of $10, so a great opportunity there to take profits. And finally, let's have a look at how Redbox did today. So those of you following the channel will know the Ortex data and the Fintel data is certainly one of the most staggering and interesting data that we've ever seen for a stock, especially from the point of view of the cost to borrow, which we'll have a look at that shortly. But let's have a look at how Redbox did today. It was up in excess of 16.29%. At one point it was trading very close to the $18 mark, and at one point went to across just trading at close to $18.20. So good opportunity there to take profit. So up in excess of 16.29 and trading at time of editing finish offering at $15.35. So a great day for anybody in Redbox. Let's now have a look at the Ortex data for ticker symbol RDBX Redbox. So on the screen here, first thing we're going to look at is Ortex in terms of the Twitter handle. And what they've said here is Redbox has jumped 30% with continued high volume. So yes, it was up at one point in excess of 30%. We saw it did close lower than that. Short interest, we're looking at 4.37 million, and that represents 224% of the free float. Largely unchanged, so again quite a staggering figure there. But what's interesting also here, the average cost to borrow is 904% on new loans, so that is also staggering. The cost to borrow has now exceeded 1050% for the first time. So let's now have a look at the latest data from Ortex. So we can see here cost to borrow average 907.57%. Short interest is up 0.25%. The current short interest as a percentage of the free float we've seen there is 224.6%. But obviously what this basically is implying is that it's certainly becoming very expensive for all the shorts to hold on this stock for a long time. So the longer they hold this, the more expensive it is. So again, Redbox is certainly behaving like we saw earlier on in AMC. So again, staggering the Ortex data here. So Redbox again predicted to potentially hit in excess of $20, but also extremely volatile. If anybody would like to get advanced notification of our watch list, where we share stocks such as Redbox, Sava, and also Blue that we've just seen now, you can join the Discord for as little as $9 a month. This will also give you access to the challenge. Thank you very much for watching. Please stay tuned.